off some of that work. So let me tell you a little bit about that. So we didn't have this listed on that list of values, but a critical stance regarding systems of oppression and equity is really crucial to our program. And we're invested in your success and in the success of the children you'll be working with. And part of that success is about building your racial consciousness and your ability to engage in conversations about race, including finding ways to move forward when there has been a breach in the group. That will happen because we're going to talk about topics that can feel challenging. So these are skills that you're going to need if you're going to be successful in teaching and collaborating with colleagues and families. And so we developed a summer seminar that we'll do in June as a venue for helping all of our teacher candidates and our faculty, including our adjuncts, come together and share clear community expectations and strategies for healthy communication. And that seminar will also set us up to explore meeting in affinity spaces. So if you haven't already, we would love for you to mark it on your calendar. That is June 3rd, and it's from 9 to 2 on campus in the Van Port building, which is the School of Ed. And that is a Saturday, if I didn't mention that. So that's going to be a really fun orientation and then also an opportunity to engage with those ideas in seminar. And then also, just while I have this slide up, you will receive in May a screencast via email that has some of the logistical pieces, like how do I register, or how do I make sure I get my fingerprint information in, and that kind of thing. And then your classes will begin the week of June 26th. So another piece of information that is going to be really important for most folks is, how do I pay for all this? So we have Donna Myers here to share with you some information about financial aid. And then Darcy Kramer has just joined us, and she'll be sharing some information about our Disability Resource Center, which is really important to know about regardless of whether you personally feel like you're going to use those services, because we're all together collaborating for everyone's success. Donna, are you ready to jump in?
I am all set. Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to see everybody's face here. It's always good seeing the students when you are getting some information. I'm going to share my screen and give you some information about financial aid. There we go. All right. So first off, welcome to PSU and paying for your graduate school education. So we're going to start there. Why is this not? For some reason, my pages are not turning. Why is that? Okay. What happens here?
Do you want to maybe unshare and reshare?
Let me see what happens there. I mean, I've already tested this out. I don't know why it's not working. It's
because you need it to right now. That's why.
Okay. It's like it wants to share in another place. Okay. You know what? Let me see whether I can use the other one. Make this so difficult, but hey, why is nothing? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's see whether that's going to work now. Okay, so welcome, and we're going to try and get through sharing this information about paying for your education here at PSU. So you're going to have a couple of options as far as applying for financial aid. First is going to be the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA. So if you have not completed your FAFSA yet, you do want to make sure that you're getting that done. you happen to be taking courses that are starting in the summer, you want to make sure you're doing the 22-23 FAFSA. And if your classes are starting in the fall, you want to make sure you're doing the 23-24 FAFSA. Now, the FAFSA is available each year, October the 1st. We encourage students to complete their FAFSA early. And early for us is going to be February the 1st. So we do encourage you to get your FAFSA in early, just so that you can have all of your financial aid kind of buttoned up and taken care of. The PSU scholarship application is also a part of the scholarship universe. So that is a new database that we are using. And with Scholarship Universe, there's a number of PSU general scholarships, as well as a large selection of external or private scholarships. Scholarship Universe is typically available on October the 1st, and you would need to have your scholarship application in by February the 1st for most of the general PSU scholarships. So in determining what you might be eligible for as far as financial aid is concerned, we are going to take your cost of attendance, which are going to be your direct cost, your tuition and fees, those things that you're going to see on your actual tuition bill, as well as your indirect cost, which are your books and supplies, any living expenses. So when you're talking about housing, whether it's on campus or off campus, we also take into consideration miscellaneous expenses. So your transportation, any personal expenses, medical expenses, you can take those into consideration. We also take other things into consideration as far as expenses. So things such as childcare, laptops, and if there is a tuition differential. We'll go into a little more detail about taking some of those other expenses into consideration. But essentially, we take your cost of attendance, subtract out your expected family contribution, which is calculated from your FAFSA form. And that's going to kind of show us what your unmet need would be. Now, for graduate students, often you are really looking at unsubsidized loans. And with the unsubsidized loan, that's a non-need-based loan through the federal government. So you do need to complete the FAFSA so that we can award that particular loan for you. For graduate students, the maximum award for the unsubsidized loan is $20,500. So most students are going to see that on their award letter. If in fact you are needing additional funds to help with your cost of attendance, or maybe with some of your living expenses, you do have the option of applying for a Grad Plus loan. Now, the Grad Plus loan is also through the Department of Education, and you would apply for that loan at studentaid.gov. It is a non-need-based loan, but it is also a loan that has a credit check that's a part of it. So where the unsubsidized loan is something that we will just award to you, the Grad Plus loan is a separate application. So you're going to need to complete the FAFSA plus complete a separate application at studentaid.gov to determine your eligibility for the Graduate Plus loan. And then the Department of Education will actually run a credit check and make the determination as to whether you are approved or not. Students can also consider private loans or alternative loans. So with your alternative loan, you can use whatever bank or financial institution that you would like to use to help with the cost of your education. I certainly encourage students to kind of compare the Graduate Plus loan and the private loans that you may in fact be considering. The Grad Plus, the interest rates are competitive with the private loans. Sometimes with private loans, there may be some options for repayment that could in fact be a little more favorable than what you would get with the Graduate Plus loan. So make sure you're doing a little bit of research if you are looking for these loans that are in addition to the unsubsidized loan, to make sure that you are getting the best deal and getting the best option that you can. Scholarships are an option for graduate students. As I said, the Scholarship Universe is what we use at PSU. to where you can apply for general scholarships through PSU as well as external scholarships. We would be taking those things into consideration as a part of your overall financial aid package. And if you happen to be awarded an external scholarship, you do want to let the financial aid office know in advance. You can just send us a copy of your award letter by email, or you can bring it in or by mail, however you want to get it to us, so that we can make whatever adjustments we might need to make to your financial aid when scholarships are taken into consideration. Finally, there may be some assistantships or tuition waivers that students may be receiving. Quite often with the assistantships, you are looking at funding that would be coming from your department. We don't know in financial aid what departments have funding and which departments do not have funding. So I certainly encourage you to, if you need to ask those questions, you want to ask them of your department. So as a student here at PSU, there's probably going to be at least a couple of the administrative offices that you're going to end up working closely with that you may need to reach out to. So we're going to start with the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, which is the office that I'm representing. And with the Office of and also with the Student Financial Services Office. Now, Student Financial Services is going to consist of a number of smaller offices. So it's going to include the cashier's office, student accounts, ID services, and financial wellness. So while financial aid is going to really focus on guiding you through the financial aid process, kind of helping you to understand the various financial aid programs, and also trying to help you if you need some information or direction in making a PSU degree affordable. That's going to be kind of what we're doing. In addition to that, the Student Financial Services is going to help you with billing. So if you have questions about items that are appearing on your bill, charges that might be appearing, you would want to talk to Student Financial Services. The Financial Wellness Center will help you to understand some of your tuition costs and your options for payment. So if your financial aid is applied to your account and you are still showing an outstanding balance, you may want to talk to the Financial Wellness Center about setting up a payment plan. And with the payment plan, you would just take your remaining balance, divide that into 3, and make 3 equal payments. And you could do that per term. As well as you are looking at some of these loans, particularly as a graduate student, when you're talking about a lot of loans to help to pay for your cost of attendance, you may want to get a little bit of advice about managing your loan debt. You may be coming in as an undergraduate student with some existing loan debt. So now as a graduate student, you may want to think about ways that you can control some of that so that you aren't in a position where you are, inundated with loan debt once you graduate from the program. So please make sure that you are having some of those conversations, if you wish, with the Financial Wellness Center. Student Financial Services, the ID office, is also under that particular umbrella. So if you have not gotten your ID, or when you are ready to get your ID, you're going to come to the FMH building on the first floor, and you will find the ID office. That's where you get your picture taken and get your ID. And that's going to really help to solidify you as a student at PSU. Finally, we talked a little bit about the tuition discounts. Typically, when we are talking about tuition discounts, those are not going to be financial aid related. So if you're talking about the WICHE, if you are talking about WICHE, or you might be talking about the Washington Border discount, those are actual as tuition discounts. They are not managed or administered by the financial aid office. Those are actually administered and managed by Student Financial Services. So if you have information that says that, hey, you might be eligible for Washington Border discount or for WICHE, as far as a tuition discount is concerned, you would definitely want to make sure that you are directing your questions to the Student Financial Services. So if you have not set up your Odin account now that you are a student, you are definitely going to want to do that. Your Odin account is what's going to give you access to BandWeb, MyPSU. That is also where you're going to go to set up your email account. So if you have not done those things, you really want to get that Odin account set up sooner than later, because you're going to use BandWeb and your MyPSU account to really see some of your information. Many of the departments, administrative departments on campus use BandWeb to communicate with you. Financial aid uses that. That's where you would be able to not only review and accept your financial aid award, what's been awarded to you, if we need other information from you. So if there's any outstanding documents, you are going to see them and review them there. But you can also register for classes because the registrar office uses that BandWeb, as well as make payments on your account. You can set up your payment plan. You can also set up a CashNet account on BandWeb if you are going to be making a payment in electronically. If you are anticipating a refund after your financial aid is dispersed to your account, you can set up a bank account so that you can have your refund directly deposited into a checking or savings account. So there's a lot of information that is on BandWeb that you really want to not only get familiar with, but if you need to set up various accounts and things along that line, you're going to want to make sure that you're doing that through BandWeb. Now, throughout the year, students may have a variety of different things that they may need to do with their financial aid. So there may be changes that are occurring that could impact your financial aid. So we encourage students to let us know about those changes and to let us know about these things sooner rather than later. So the revision request form is what we use in financial aid when you want to make changes to your financial aid or you are making changes to your enrollment. So if you need to, say, take a summer term, financial aid is actually awarded based on the three main terms: fall, winter, and spring. So summer is kind of like a special session. So you need to let us know in financial aid if you want your financial aid distributed over 4 terms as opposed to 3 terms. And you would actually complete a revision request form there. If you are changing your enrollment, for most students in the graduate programs, 9 credits is considered full-time. You may in fact be taking a term where you might be less than full-time. Maybe you're only going to take 8 credits. That could have an impact on your financial aid. So you definitely want to make sure that you're letting us know as soon as you know if your enrollment is going to change for a particular term. You can also let us know if you're going to be stepping out for a term. So if you are here in the fall, things happen in your life and you say, I've got to take winter off, you want to let us know that you're going to be taking winter off so that we can make those adjustments to your aid. We also have a budget increase request form. And just so you know, these forms are on our website at pdx.edu/student-finance. Or you can just go to pdx.edu and search for financial aid, and it'll take you to our website as well. But these forms are going to be on our website. So as I talked about things that we can take into consideration, such as childcare expenses, if you have unreimbursed medical expenses, if you needed to purchase a laptop, you can put through a budget increase request, and we can take those costs into consideration and potentially have an increase to your budget, which would then lead to an increase in your financial aid. So if you are in that situation, you realize, you know what, I need to have a better laptop than what I currently have for this graduate program, please consider completing the budget increase request so that we can take those costs into consideration. So as you are a student here at PSU, there might be a time where you may have a bit of a struggle in your coursework. For students at PSU to maintain your eligibility for financial aid, you must be meeting academic progress. If you are suddenly not meeting academic progress, the first term that you're not meeting that progress, you will be put in a warning status, which is just letting you know you have one more term to get to where you need to be for academic progress before your financial aid is suspended. Quite often we don't really see these issues with graduate students, but they do occur. And if you happen to fall into that situation, you will need to complete the academic progress, satisfactory academic progress petition, and provide us with not only the petition, but also an academic plan as to how you are going to be successful in future terms. You certainly, the satisfactory academic progress petition for financial aid is a little different than what you might have on the actual academic side. And the rules can be a little bit different for financial aid than what they are for the academic side of the house. But if you happen to get one of those notices that you need to petition because your aid has been suspended, I really encourage you to get the form in early, or get it in as soon as possible after you are informed of your suspension, so that we can get your aid reissued to you or distributed to you. Finally, if you are in a position where you may not be able to always get in touch with financial aid or other departments, the registrar, student financial services, you may not always have the time or the ability to get in touch with our offices to talk about things related to your account, your academic record, maybe your bill. We unfortunately are not able to talk to just anybody about your financial aid or your classes or your bill. So if you want to authorize someone else to have access to your PSU information, you're going to need to complete a FERPA form. FERPA is the form that you are able to identify someone that you would like to be able to get information about your PSU accounts on your behalf. You can find this form on our website. You can also find it on the registrar's website, and its official name is consent to release. It's a consent to release form. So if you want to identify someone who can get information about your account, please complete the FERPA form or consent to release and get that back to us, so that we are able to speak to that person when they call or when they email. So this is just a quick screenshot of what the BandWeb account looks like. So if you have not logged in, or if you have logged in, you will see that you have a home page, which will talk about some of the student requirements that need to be completed for you as a student. You'll be able to see your award offer, your financial aid history. This is actually your financial aid history with the Department of Ed. Some resources, notifications, and satisfactory academic progress. You should definitely be looking at BandWeb. If you are looking and you see that there are items that are under your unsatisfied requirements, please be sure that you are getting that information into us. any delays with any request that we may have of you that you need to return back to us. The later you get that information to us, the longer it may take for us to get those things processed, and there can be delays in your financial aid. There are two questions here. It's an authorization to pay non-institutional charges and an authorization to pay prior year charges. All students at PSU with financial aid, particularly federal financial aid, are going to need to answer those questions. The authorization to pay non-institutional charges is going to be for those things such as, if you get a parking ticket or you have late fees from the library. You can actually say, yeah, you can use my financial aid to pay those particular charges, or you can say, no, you don't want those, and then you can pay for those charges yourself. The authorization to pay prior year charges, when you see that particular authorization, it's basically letting you know that you can, or what it's going to tell you is that you can use $200 of future financial aid to pay a previous term, prior term of financial aid, or of an outstanding bill. So you can make that authorization, and if you want to say yes to that, or that you accept that, you can certainly go ahead and accept that when you see that on your bad web account. The last thing I have is some contact information. So if you need to get in touch with financial aid, we are available by email, by phone. We are also available in person at our counter in the FMH building. If you wanted to set up an appointment to speak to a financial aid counselor, you can actually do that on our website. Once again, if you go to pdx.edu and search for financial aid, you can find that under the contact link, where you can schedule an appointment with a counselor. The appointments that are scheduled are typically about 20 minutes long, and you can do them by Zoom or by phone. I've also provided the contact information for Student Financial Services if you have some questions about your bill, or some questions about an outstanding bill or setting up a payment plan. You can reach the Financial Wellness Center through that number as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and see if anybody has any questions. Looks like we have one in the chat. I called you about the revision they set for grad school is not affected after your income pages will not be considered. So the revision request, thank you, Susan, for that question. So a revision request is going to be more related to things such as your enrollment, or if you wanted to make a change to your financial aid. Students suddenly may get a big refund back once their aid is dispersed to their account, and they may say, "Whew, I do not want to have a big refund. I don't need this. So I want to reduce my loans for future terms." That's kind of where you're going to use the revision request. If you have a change in your income, now that's going to be more of a reevaluation. But as a graduate student, because your eligibility is going to be limited to non-need-based forms of financial aid, your information isn't really going to change because it's not need-based. So completing a revision request or doing a reevaluation because of a change in income is not really going to change things for you, because your eligibility is going to be all non-need based. Okay. What are the options for aid for the part-time program? Your options are going to actually be the same. You're going to complete the FAFSA form. We are going to determine how much you are eligible to receive with the unsubsidized loan. If in fact you want to look at other options as far as the Grad Plus loan or alternative loans, you can certainly do that as well. Question about the scholarship application. So the scholarships that students applied for in Scholarship Universe with the deadline of February the 1st or April the 1st, those are going to be awards that would be made for 23-24. So the awards would start in the fall of 23. Okay. Anything else? You can either throw it in the chat or you can just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. Okay, how do students get financial aid for summer of 2023? So you'll need to complete your FAFSA form for, you'll need to complete the 22-23 FAFSA form. So if you have not done that and you are starting in the summer, that's the form that is the FAFSA that you want to complete. Once we get that FAFSA, we will do a financial aid award for you beginning with the summer. But also don't forget to complete 23-24 because that's going to cover you for the rest of the academic year. So you'll need to complete 2 forms. If you're starting in the summer, you will need to complete 2 FAFSAs, but you're going to complete them both at studentaid.gov. Okay, I was told to complete the revision form, but after completing it, was told I also needed to write a note that it was for the grad program. Should I send it again? Well, I guess it really depends on what you were completing the revision request for. If you were making an adjustment to your enrollment, so to cover summer, yes. If you didn't indicate on the revision request form, if you didn't include summer on that form, there's not really a note that you need to make. The revision request form is essentially going to ask you what it is that you are attempting to do. So if you're looking to change your enrollment, so like to add summer to your enrollment, you're going to indicate what your enrollment is for each term. And summer will be on the term. Then you'll be asked a question: do you want to change your loans? Depending on what you have, it's going to determine whether you want to change your loans or not. And you can always give our office a call and we can help you with the answer to that question. So feel free to reach out to us by phone or by email, and we can certainly help you with filling out that form or whether, how you might want to change your information. But you do want to make sure that you have that 22-23 FAFSA in. And if you are looking to have aid for the summer, you can do that revision request form and let us know.
I actually have a question. So just to clarify, if I already applied for FAFSA for 23-24, do I just complete the revision to add summer?
No, because you need to do 22-23.
Okay.
So you'll need to do the 22-23 FAFSA to if your start time is summer of 23, so this upcoming summer, you have to do the 22-23 FAFSA. This upcoming summer is a part of this academic year.
Okay, so I just need to do both.
You need to do both.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Donna. This information is so important and useful for the students. And we have this recorded, so folks will send this out to you if it would be helpful to revisit it later.
Absolutely. And please be sure to reach out to the financial aid office if you have any questions. We are there every day and are happy to answer anything for you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I see some giving you good love reactions in the corners. Feel free to do that.
Yeah. Thanks very much. You guys have a good rest of the evening.
All right, thank you, Donna. All right, so we're gonna have Darcy Kramer talk to us a little bit about the Disability Resource Center. And then I had planned some time to explore some of the campus organizations, and we're gonna compress that and have that just be something that you'll have a resource you can look at on your own time. I made a YouTube playlist for you and stuff. But that's kind of how teaching goes, right? Things take longer or shorter than you expected, and then you flex with it and make it work. So we'll hear from Darcy, and then we're going to do the breakouts into our 1 year and 2 year and added groups. Did I lose you, Darcy?
Nope, I'm here.
All right.
Hi, I'm Darcy Kramer with the Disability Resource Center. And give me just a moment here. The Disability Resource Center serves students with all kinds of disabilities. So if you wonder if your disability, quote unquote, qualifies, reach out to us and talk with us, and we will let you know. So learning, cognition, mental health, medical, sensory, neurodiverse, physical, temporary, that's correct. If you break your hand a week before finals, we will help you. That happens every spring to at least one student. The accommodations can be for classroom, testing. We have technology available for students that they can check out from our office at no cost. Accommodations can also be for internships, externships, co-op, teaching experiences, and housing, and a lot more. So if you're wondering if there's an accommodation for that, again, talk with us and we'll let you know. All conversations and information that you provide to the Disability Resource Center is considered confidential. We don't share any information about disability or diagnosis with anyone outside of our office. We will share information about the accommodations you're eligible for with people who are directly responsible for providing or facilitating the accommodations. The most frequently asked question, when should I contact the DRC? Preferably a couple of months before the term that you're going to start taking classes. Generally speaking, for the first couple of weeks of each term, we are booked out at least 2 to 3 weeks. For fall term, it's more like 4 to 6 weeks. So getting in early means that your accommodations will be ready to go on day one when you start taking classes. How do you get started? Getting started with the DRC is very simple. You go to the DRC website and click on the center button that says start the registration process. That will take you to a form that you will fill out. You'll get a follow-up email that will have a link to schedule your initial appointment with an access counselor and consultant. If the form doesn't work for some reason, you can always call or email our front office as well. The initial appointment is when you talk with a DRC access counselor and consultant. We meet with every student one-on-one to talk about how their diagnosis or disability impacts their academic work and make sure that we tailor accommodations to the specific barriers that each student experiences. If you're already registered with the DRC and you find that your accommodations just aren't working, feel free to reach out, meet with an access counselor and consultant to talk about what changes might be needed. You can schedule usually a same day 20-minute virtual meeting with an access counselor and consultant. There are times, especially at the beginning of the term, when we might be booked out a week, but generally those appointments don't book out very far. And how to contact us. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're in the Smith Memorial Student Union in Suite 116. If you enter from Broadway, turn left, go down the hall, and we're at the end of the hall. You can also call or email us, and our website is pdx.edu, disability-resource-center. Any questions? Well, if you do have questions and you're more comfortable reaching out by email, I'm going to put my direct email in the chat for you.
And we have one question in the chat, Darcy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at the chat. Yes, ADHD is definitely something you should talk to the DRC about. We do have accommodations that may benefit you. What the accommodations might look like depends on you. I can have 10 students with ADHD, and each of them is going to have slightly different accommodations because the impact of the ADHD on their academic work is going to differ from person to person. That's why we like to talk one-on-one with students instead of just looking at some paperwork and saying, oh, ADHD, check, check, check. Yeah, there's a lot of students registered with the DRC. It's about 2,600 right now, which is slightly more than 10% of the PSU student population. So you're in good company if you register with the DRC.
Thank you so much, Darcy. I really appreciate you coming. Anyone else have a question that I interrupted your thought on?
Yep.
All right.
There's my direct email, and feel free to reach out to me.
All right, thank you. And thank you for your patience
Oh, no problem.
as it did.
Yeah, thank you for bringing the DRC in. We appreciate that.
Right on. All right, have a good night, Darcy.
Good night.
So on your agenda, you'll see a link for a playlist of campus organizations, and there's also a link that'll jump you to the bottom of the document that has a grid of various campus organizations that may be relevant to you, maybe not. And so we're just gonna, for that part, we'll just leave you with those. The videos are fun to watch. Each one of them is just a few minutes, like 2 to 5 minutes. So we hope that you'll explore the offerings at PSU because they go so much beyond just the program, which is also amazing just in itself. So now we want to make sure that you have a good amount of time in your separate breakout rooms. So I've got you set up. I believe I have everyone assigned based on your 1 year or 2 year model. And we'll be in there for about 30 minutes. Faculty, does that still sound like a good plan? Okay, so faculty will be sharing some key information. You'll have a chance to ask some questions, and we'll see you back here in about 30 minutes, okay? And if you need something that you want to check in with me about, you can just hang back when I open the rooms, and feel free to check in with me. All right, here you go. Did I not get you assigned? Amanda?
Automatically,
I think, oh wait, it's because,
because I came late, sorry.
oh no, yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Okay, 2-year added, and I think Erin is in 2-year also. There you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pause the recording. Welcome back, 2-year folks. Was that enough time to give you some good information? This is just the start of a 2-year conversation, so. I'm not sure whether Olivia shared this in her group, so I'll go ahead and show you the results of our values poll real quick. Let's see. Welcome back, 1-year. Go ahead. Oh. So it looks like compassion, curiosity, and respect were our top winners on our values, but I'm sure there are a lot more words that you could have put here than just those few, but hopefully that got some good conversation started. So we want to wrap up here. Anything to share out from your breakout groups? Faculty, I don't know if there's anything to bring to the whole group.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
They're ready.
Yay! That's awesome.
We said the same thing in 2 years.
Well, maybe if you're willing, folks, to wrap us up, either pop in the chat or unmute and tell us something that you're excited about in getting started with the program or joining us at PSU, whatever kind of makes sense to you to share there. I love it, Lauren.
I'm really excited to be a college student again and to be in a big group of cool people such as y'all. And I feel like there's been a lot of good information, so thank you for that.
Good. I'm so glad. Thank you for jumping in. Moved from California. Oh, good. We're glad you're here. Is it Kaylee? Am I saying that right?
Yep, that's it.
That was
I-
not my I'll admit it.
A straight connection with Portland State. I owned a pasta making business for about 7 years, and I sold at the Portland State Farmers Market at the PSU Market, which is like known around the country. So it was really exciting to be there. And then now to come back as a graduate student it's pretty cool. It's a kind of a nice circle. So yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Feel free to keep throwing out things you're excited about. I'm going to throw in the chat here. I think, yes, a link to a quick feedback form. This is going to give you a chance to let us know, in particular, some things you might have questions about that we can include in the screencast that we'll be sending you in May. So, you know, feel free to pose any questions there or let us know what you're thinking and how we can be of support. And please reach out in the interim to us, to Darcy, Donna. You know, there are a lot of resources here that are here to serve you. One whole new building. Oh, yes, yes.
There was one question that came up with folks in my breakout room that I don't know, well, we have Amanda and some expertise on this call. Is there a mechanism right now other than TSPC's diversity scholarship program for reimbursing fingerprint fees? Do you know?
That is the only one that is current right now. Sometimes TSPC will have money left over in fall. They'll usually let us know if they're going to release more funds, and then we would email you all and let you know.
And then otherwise, do people just wrap that in their FAFSA needs, like if appropriate? Like does financial aid?
That's a good financial aid question. Maybe that's something we could follow up on and put in the screencast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it sounded like Donna was saying, you know, there are other expenses, like she was giving the example of a better computer. So that seems relevant, but who knows what the specifics are. So we'll ask her about that. Thanks for asking. All right. Well, thank you all so much for spending your evening with us. We'll look forward to meeting you in person in June, the first Saturday in June. And again, please reach out. We're here to help. And the faculty will hang around for a minute as people exit. If there's something that you just needed a more private chance to ask, then feel free to do that. And we can put you in a breakout room with the faculty if needed. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful night.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.